Okay, here we are at the Mount Vernon Trail, ready to start the 20th edition of this Washington, D.C. bike ride. We've had rain, snow, heat, cold over the years, but 36 feels right cold this morning, doesn't it?
A little balmy.
Dee and I were talking about it on the ride up from Mount Vernon. We don't think Starbucks existed 20 years ago. What do you remember?
I think you're right, Tom. I remember the rides, and I think this was about 5 or 10 years in.
I don't think you had any of that flashy gear you're wearing now either. We've had a lot of confusion over the last 20 years about which routes we were going to take, and Andy's got his map, so there's no way we'll get lost. We've had a lot of distinguished people ride with us today. We've got another part of the Becker dynasty. You know, one thing that really hadn't changed too much in 20 years is the thrill of watching planes take off at Reagan Airport, like this one right here. Standing here at Reagan, 20 years ago, we would have probably repaired 3 or 4 flat tires by now.
At least.
We've been through 30. Right now, Andy, what's the difference in tires or inner tubes?
Well,
we haven't had a flat tire up here in years, have we?
I think we've been lucky.
Which ones have been added in the last 20 years?
Well, definitely World War II, Korea. When did the Vietnam one open?
Oh, that was here.
That was.
But a lot's changed in 20 years.
And then
Had 2 completely disconnected wars going on. Isn't it? You know,
20 years ago, we were dragging 20 or 30 riders up here, and we'd lost a good number of them by the time we got here, but things sure have changed at the Capitol. Remember going up to the veranda there and taking the group picture on the veranda?
and I remember Mike Moore had this new technology on his bike. It was this GPS thing. We thought,
at the scene of another priceless memory near the Capitol building. Andy, what do you remember happening here?
so Brad basically said, "Here, watch me. Here's how you hop a bike upstairs." And he hopped it up on those first set of stairs, and the 250 pounds of Brad put all the weight of the tires on those 2 little corners and blew them both out.
At the Old Glory restaurant in Georgetown, and boy, our eating really has changed on these trips in 20 years.
What's that hot dogs on the...
20 years ago, we were searching for a food truck with Gatorade and hot dogs over near the Capitol somewhere. You can't even get a PBR in Old Glory anymore.
No, can't do that.
Some things have not changed for the better in 20 years. It's always dangerous when Andy's plotting away. And whenever he gets his maps out, we know we're in trouble. Have we ever been the way we're going today?
Part of it.
Never. Hard to believe that after 20 years of riding up here, we finally found something new. And of course, it was Andy's idea, and it was 2 miles straight uphill from the river. Andy, where the hell are we going now? The Woodrow Wilson Bridge underneath it near Jones Park in Alexandria. We used to park in wherever you could find a space amongst the debris, broken bottles, and whatever. And who would have ever believed National Harbor would exist? Obviously, 20 years ago, none of this was here. In fact, there was no way to get across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge.
Not on bikes.
And Mike Moore's famous awakening moved from somewhere obscure. And the amazing bike path across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, looking west towards the Capitol. And here we are back at the end of the trail at Mount Vernon. A lot of things have changed in 20 years. I don't know whether we're tougher, smarter, dumber, or what, but we sure have had a lot of fun in these 20 years. Lots of good memories.